Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What's up? Back again. Good morning. Hey, Brandy. What's up? What's up, chicken butt? What's up, chicken butt? I'm on a live spree. I am, dude. I just keep feeling so called to come on. Hi from Zurich. I just got such a strong pull to come on again this morning. I just was receiving, I was sitting out in my meadow that I sit in every morning when I'm home. Hi, Chad. And God, man, I got this really powerful message that I want to share with you guys. I feel like a lot of us are going through this. And because everything is energy, hi from Las Vegas. Because everything's energy, it's hard for us to figure out what's going on, right? We feel like we're losing our minds. So I think that's why I'm popping on more and more, trying to, is because we're not losing our minds. We're just figuring out how to do this life from a more energetic perspective going forward. So it's a lot less physical. It's a lot less, here's the proof. Here's how it's going to go. Here's what it looks like. Here's the steps you take. I don't know about you, but that's falling away more and more, right? There aren't a lot of books that are going to walk you through this. There aren't steps that you can take necessarily. It's very, very different right now. And it's going to continue to be very different as we walk through this journey of the human. So I just want to share what I'm experiencing and what I'm hearing. Hi, Phil. I love you, my friend. I want to share what I'm hearing within my own being so that if you're not hearing it within your own being, maybe this will resonate with you. So one of the things that's really being so potently clear to me right now is this movement from a place of control, right? Where the ego is saying, Lori, here's what you do first, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, right? If you do that, you're not safe. It's not going to happen. It's not going to pan out. You need to make sure that you have proof. You need to make sure that there's something that you can tangibly grab, whether that's with my business or with a move or travel or anything, right? We have been living in a way in which we need to be in control. We need to know what's coming. We need to know that if we do ... we'll be taken care of. Because most of our lives we've felt really unsafe and unsafe in the world. And so the way that we feel safe in the world is that we have control over it. Okay? And unfortunately, when you start moving into higher states of consciousness, okay, when your body starts to increase in vibration, which is what's happening to you right now. By the way, it's very natural, like I always say. It's a very natural process where your physical body is increasing vibration, frequency, or light, energy. When this happens, you don't get to control it. You don't get to decide how this goes. This is an energetic game that you're in that looks very physical. And so what starts to happen that we forgot is that we have to let the ego hush, sit in the passenger seat, and stop trying to control the way our life is designed to go. Which means that we have to pass the baton to a version of ourselves that I call the higher self. It's a version of us that understands the energetic world. And the higher self understands how to navigate the energetic world. It doesn't need proof. It knows how to create and intend, and it knows how to bring us, which is it, to the next highest version of us, taking us out of suffering and struggle and fear and lack and victimhood, And it knows how to start to bring us into more abundance, more peace, more flow, more joy. That's the natural process of evolution. That's the natural process of moving into higher states of consciousness. You see, we've all been in this belief that we are in control of this and that we're going to just raise our vibration, right? And we're going to just meditate ourselves or mantra ourselves or, heal ourselves into this. And unfortunately, that is still a state of control. You're still trying to control this. And you'll find yourself fighting against that which is naturally being asked of you, which is, can you let go of control? And what does that feel like to you? And what does that look like to you? And how freaky is that? This is real, legit shit. It's not easy. Letting go of control and trusting something, i.e. a version of you that you have we haven't really fully embodied the higher version. The higher self. We're learning how to. And it's an energy, it's a knowingness, it's a feeling, it's an experience. And it requires you to trust that which you can't see. It requires you to believe in something that is not physically in front of you. It requires you to remember that you're safe. That all the ways in which you have been living most of your life, you don't need to continue to live. And it takes a tremendous amount of courage and baby steps to begin to wrap our heads around this idea, this notion that there is a version of us that's inside of us right now, that is energetic, that is guiding us, that is doing its best to try to get our attention, our being the ego, the very loud ego that needs to be in control. If you really start to quiet yourself, and start really paying attention to what is going on inside of you internally. So many of us are experiencing the passing of a baton, where we're learning how to let the ego quiet, and we're starting to trust something that, listen to how crazy this is. So somehow we trust our ego. We let our ego lead us. We believe the ego. So we believe our fears. We believe our limitations. We believe these limiting thoughts. We believe lack. And we believe these things. And it's not physical necessarily. And yet it's so difficult for us to believe another version of us called the higher self. It's so difficult for us to believe that we're worthy. It's so difficult for us to believe that we don't have to be in suffering or in struggle. It's so difficult for us to believe that we don't have to live in fear, that we don't have to live in victimhood. The reason this current kind of shift that we're in is so difficult is because if you look back at your entire life, for many of us, we've been in suffering. We've been in struggle. We've been in lack. We've been in victimhood. Right? We've had trauma. We've been abused. We've been neglected. We've been told all these things about ourselves. We're not worthy. We cannot be loved just for who we are. We have to, all these things. But you are currently in a massive, massive shift in consciousness. What do you think that means? What do you think it means to shift consciousness? Does it mean that you're going to grab and carry everything that happened to you in the past to the future, to the now? What do you think shift means? A shift in consciousness means that you are shifting out of something. You're shifting out of old ways, old beliefs. But you have to be aware. You have to be the observer of what you have been in. What have you been in? What limiting thoughts continue to drive you? The key isn't to judge yourself. The key is to just observe it. The key is to remember that this is a massive evolutionary shift in consciousness. An evolutionary shift in consciousness. What's consciousness? Consciousness is states of awareness, states of being. These shifts are so subtle, you guys, but they take so much courage. It takes so much patience. It takes so much awareness, observation. What am I in right now? What am I thinking right now? What am I feeling right now? What am I doing right now? Taking out the judgment and just being the observer. Is there something deep within me that I trust is trying to get me to do something differently? Right? Am I being asked to think differently, to feel differently, to be differently, to do differently? And am I fighting against it? Am I not trusting? Am I still believing in the suffering and the struggle and the fear and the lack? Yeah. Okay. Can I at least observe that? Most of us right now, I promise you, most of us right now are being asked to do things that we don't believe we can do. We're being asked to step into ways of experiencing life that we haven't experienced before, and we don't believe we're worthy of it. We don't believe that we can have it. We don't believe that it will manifest or be brought to us. We don't believe that it can be easy. We believe that we have to go through all this healing and all of this, whatever it is. So we're literally stopping our transformation because we are afraid of our transformation. And listen, it makes sense to me. It is no joke, and it is not easy to trust in something that feels bigger than how I have been living most of my life, right? To let go of trying to control the way I want things to go. I'll tell you one thing that I'm noticing in my life, especially in my business. The more I try to control, like I'm going to do this to make money, or I'm going to do this to get followers, or I'm going to do this, the more I try to do that, the more I am literally body slammed to the ground. And the more I can hear this internal guidance saying, stop trying to figure out how to do this. Thank you so much for the badge. Stop trying, Lori, to figure out how to do this. Can you let go and let us show you, or let you show you? You do not know how this goes. You do not know. This is my own internal messenger telling me this. You do not know how to get you to the highest aspect of you. And this is very, very difficult. I call this the active surrenderer, right? I'm going to talk about this in my course coming up on Saturday's Soul Signature, Stepping into Your Purpose. Active surrendering is when you are, I think I've spoken about this before, but active surrendering is when you are in this state of awareness or state of being where you are receptive and open to what is. So it's like this openness, okay? Like you're receptive to whatever you are experiencing, wherever you're in. But you are simultaneously moving, you're taking action, right? So for me, I'm constantly showing up. I'm doing daily videos. I'm always asking what's next, how do I serve next? What am I offering next? So there's always this active participation in life, okay? But you are surrendered the entire time, which is letting go of control. I don't do this that well, but I'm practicing, right? I'm practicing doing this. There's always this internal voice that says, Laura, you do not know how this goes. You do not know how this goes. You do not know how this goes. And so I'm constantly being acutely aware of when I think I know how this goes and when it's the ego that says, do this now do this, now do this in order to have this outcome. So for me, I have to get real clear on, is this the ego that is driving this action, or is it my higher self? Because the higher self still takes action. You're always taking action. You're not just laying back saying, okay, universe, show me. I'm just going to sit back and wait for you to just show me. No. We have to move. We have to participate with the flow. All right. You're in the river, and you have to participate with the river. If there's a rock coming, you're going to be prepared for the rock. Ouch, I just hit the rock. If there's rapids coming, you're going to prepare yourself. Here comes the rapids, right? You're not just going to be an idiot and sit back and be like, oh, well, I'm trusting so much that everything's just going to come to me. No, you have to participate in life. You have to participate. But it's this deep, deep trust that you're being asked to step into now. Deep trust. So think about what's happening in your life right now. What is it that you are being asked to look at? Right? What is it that you are not trusting? What is it that you are afraid to believe you're worthy of? Pay attention to these things. The key, I say this so many times, the key is to not judge yourself. Don't judge yourself. Observe yourself. Don't judge yourself, observe yourself. Don't judge yourself, observe yourself. If you're in that state of, I have no desire to participate, that is a part of the metamorphosis, the little, like the caterpillar into the butterfly, right? There's all these little quote unquote stages that we go through. And the exhaustion and the pause and the I don't want to do anything, that deserves to be honored and respected. It's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily something to get angry about or upset about. If you remember that this is all movement, right? You're in a constant state of movement. Period. Energy never stops. Transformation never stops. Shifting doesn't stop. You're never stuck, right? So if there's like, I have no desire to take action, great. I have no desire to participate, great. I have no desire to leave my house, great. Okay, next. Okay, and, right? Like, okay, so if you try to grab onto and make this a big deal, what you're experiencing, like it's bad or there's something wrong with you or any of that, you're literally, it's like you're putting your feet against, like when a dog doesn't want to go home and so it like, and it's digging its heels in and the owner's like, no, you're coming with me. Imagine higher self is the leash, like, bitch, come. You're gonna be okay, right? And the ego is the dog, like, no, there's something, nope, don't want this. Just imagine that everything is always for your highest good. Everything. I promise you, 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 1 year from now, you're gonna look back and you're gonna realize why you were in what you were in. It's so difficult. It's so challenging to try to discuss what we're going through energetically, right? It's super complicated, but it's also very easy. That's the crazy thing about what we're going through. is it's very, very simple, but it feels super, super complicated, right? Super complicated. But yeah, so I just wanted to jump on because there is definitely your higher self right now is so trying to get your attention. It's asking you to let go even more. It's asking you to trust. Like if every single person's higher self could come down right now in physicality with a big fat microphone thing, one of those big like cheerleader things, right? And say, I need you to do this and this and this and this. And this, stop resisting, and then your higher self showed you this movie scene and it was like, this is what's coming and this is what's coming and this is what's coming. Yeah, megaphone, right? This is, I promise you, but here's the thing, our thoughts are so powerful. Our thoughts are the most powerful thing that create our reality. I've said this before, it's the one part of the human experience that is like, we are fucked. I got thoughts? Wait a second. You come in as a consciousness into the human body and you're like, hey, you're about to go down into a really low dimensional field. It's got polarity, it's got duality, it's got fear and hate and love and joy. And oh, by the way, there's thoughts. You're like, what's thoughts? And you're like, okay, let me give you a little rundown on thoughts. Thoughts will create your entire reality. But even if it's not physically in front of me, correct. Even if it's not energetically in front of me, correct. So you're telling me that thoughts that aren't even real, that I can't physically see, are going to create a reality? Yes. Holy shit. Where do thoughts come from? They come from the external world. Oh, and how do I change my thoughts? Observation, empowerment, choice, recognizing you're not the thoughts. Holy shit. Oh, and by the way, you're going down into a programmed world that's going to mind control the shit out of you and make you so programmed that you're not even going to realize that you have these thoughts that are creating your reality. Excuse me, come again? Good luck. Down you go. What the fuck? Okay, got it. So your thoughts literally create your reality. That's how potent. And that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important to tap into the energy of who you are, because your energy is when you can feeling is more powerful than your thoughts. Feeling energetically can override the thoughts. But you have to start paying attention to what you're believing to be your truths. You have to start observing them. One of the ways that I really overcome really intense thoughts that I have is I will write the thoughts out. I'll say the thoughts out loud. I'll get the thoughts out. And the more that you are aware of your thoughts, the quieter the thoughts become. The quieter they become. But we have to be aware of the thoughts. We can't be afraid of them. And we can't believe that we are the thoughts. If you believe you're your thoughts, then you're really screwed. Truly. Do you believe that you're your thoughts? Right? Do you believe that you're your thoughts? The world's going to get a lot more chaotic, you guys. The world's going to get crazier. The world's going to get much more intense. And if you are lucky enough to be on the path of awakening, where you are starting to recognize who you are and how to navigate this world, this physical and energetic world, you're going to be okay. Because you're going to realize how to manipulate the physical world. You're going to realize that no matter what comes down the chute, you have started to master the energetic world. So you are starting to learn how to break free from the programs. You're learning how to break free from your thoughts. You're learning how to break free from your emotional states. This is required for us to be able to navigate what's coming down the chute in the World Forum. Because make no mistake, it's gonna get pretty hairy out there. We haven't seen anything yet. And so what are you and I learning right now? Well, on one side of the coin, we're learning how to internally navigate our own internal world. But why? Why are we learning how to master our internal world? Why are we learning how to break free? Why are we learning how to step out of programming and mind control? So that we can assist humanity. Truly. So that we can assist humanity in breaking free from what is coming. And that's not a fear-based timeline. That's just evolution and human consciousness. I mean, if you look at your own evolution, your own shifts, your own transformations, okay? What did you have to do? Think about this for a second. What did you have to do, and what are you currently doing in order to get yourself to where you are right now in your life? You had to look at all your trauma. You had to look at your shadow and your triggers. You had to look at everything that was all the thoughts and the beliefs, the addictions, the behaviors, and you still are, right? You have to see what you've been in. You have to see what you've been experiencing yourself as. So what do you think's happening in the entire globe, in the entire world? It's the exact same thing. This evolution isn't just an internal, individual, one-person evolution. This is an entire planetary evolution. The entire planet is evolving. Which means that that the human, collective human, has to see what they're in. We have to see the manipulation. We have to see the evil. We have to see the mind control. We have to see the corruption. We have to see it, and we're seeing it. And the reason we have to see it is because as soon as you see it, you have become empowered and you get to choose how you're going to play in it. You get to choose how you're going to play in it. Because I was talking to my friend yesterday and she's like, what do you think about this whole new world, new earth type of thing? And I said, well, there's only one planet. You're standing on it. But there are multiple dimensional fields or states of consciousness that we're going to be experiencing as we stand on this one beautiful planetary body. And it's always going to be energetic first before it becomes physical. So for instance, let's say that you don't necessarily agree with the educational system that your children are in. First, you have to be aware of the educational system that your children are in. First step. Then you have to choose how you want to play the game. So for some parents, they have to keep their children in these school systems even though they don't want to. That's okay. Because there is not physically another school that replicates the frequencies and the desires that they have. A school that that is more free. A school that doesn't teach about blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, okay? So there is an energetic shift that is happening with these parents where they are starting to step into new states of consciousness, new states of being, new states of awareness, but physically the schools aren't there yet. That's how this evolutionary shift happens. First, you have to see what you're in. This goes with the governments, this goes with the religion, this goes with the medical systems, all these systems, right? You have to see what you're in. Then you have to start to choose how you want to play in it. And then eventually humans begin to physically create new systems, slowly but surely. And they physically arise in cities, in countries, all over the world. And that is how an entire planet shifts. But we have to see what we're in. It's got to get pretty gruesome and dirty out there. You know, so that's what's happening internally. Think about it. Internally right now, what are you going through? You start to realize what you're in, what you believe, what you think, how you've been, all the trauma. And through that observation, you begin to choose, do I want to still do this? Do I want to still believe these things? And it's difficult, right? So you have to start to energetically believe that you don't need to be in these things anymore, that you're worthy, that you can have peace and freedom and abundance and all these things. So you energetically have to step into it first. It's not easy. It's a choice. Everything's a choice. And then once you start to energetically believe it, eventually it becomes physical. And the physical reality matches your energetic reality. But I mean, this isn't easy. You know, what we're doing together, side by side, all over the world is like a WTF. It's pretty fascinating. But this is all written in the stars, so to speak, right? This is the divine design of this planetary experience. This is why we're here. So whatever you're going through right now, whatever you're going through today, I mean, for me, I was feeling a lot of this like underlying anxiety. And what I do is I'm like, oh, I'm feeling this anxiety. And then I kind of snuggle into the anxiety of like, wow, what is this anxiety? Where's it coming from? What is it all about? And when I quiet myself, I'm able to tap a little bit deeper in, and I immediately hear, you need to let go of more control. I'm like, kidding me? Let go of more control? Have you lost your minds? Not controlling much. You know, so it requires you to be able to listen to your intuition, right? To that internal guidance. And how do I do that? I'm alone a lot. I have a lot of space to myself. I'm quiet. I take time to just be alone as much as possible. But I try to balance that because I'm a hermit, and it's really important for me not to be a hermit right now. I gotta balance that. You know? So if you're on the opposite side where you're always doing, and you're really, really busy all the time, you've got kids and you've got relationships and friendships and you're just a busy rabbit, how can you balance having more time to just be with you? That is how you can get through this with more ease and grace. You're not a victim to the circumstances you're in. Can you find 5 minutes where you're just breathing? I don't set an intention. Like when I come to the meadow every morning, I don't sit in meditation. I don't sit and close my eyes. I just sit. Maybe I answer a text message. You know, maybe I'm doing something on PicMonkey and creating a graphic. I don't know. I don't necessarily sit and meditate. But it's in these moments where I'm sort of just pausing my life for a moment, even though I'm still doing stuff, that I receive. So we have to take the pressure off of ourselves of like how we're supposed to do this. The perfection in which we think we need to do this. There's nothing to do. It's truly a state of absolute surrendering and trust and being in every single moment while you enjoy life. Recognizing that you are unequivocally, without a doubt, going through a massive, massive evolutionary shift in human consciousness. That is quite simply what's occurring. And the less you can judge yourself, the easier this will be for you. This underlying anxiety, I didn't get mad at myself. I also didn't try to get rid of it. But I want to be real clear here, I don't have massive anxiety. I don't have anxiety on a regular basis. I don't have that anxiety that takes over and you can't breathe. I don't have that kind of anxiety. So I can't speak to that. But I had a very subtle anxiety of like, oof, I feel out of control. I feel out of control right now. And then it was like, oh, this is the natural state of being when you start shifting. Learning how to let go of control, Lori. Letting go of an expectation. Letting go of outcomes. Letting go of attachments to how things are supposed to be or going to be. One of the really, really, really big consciousnesses that's being felt right now is lack. Right? Not having enough. It's super complicated to dissect that consciousness and what it is that's being asked of us. But just pay attention to the power of that consciousness, which we call lack. It creates a lot of anxiety and stress and fear. It's a collective consciousness that you're feeling. Lack. And it's designed to disempower us. Lack is a consciousness, i.e. an energy, that is designed to disempower us. And it's very potent. It's very similar to fear. You know, when we really start to allow, that's what happened a couple of years ago. Fear came in and it really, really took over this planet. That's why mastering this energetic world is so important. Can you master lack? What that means is that can you observe the fact that you're feeling lack? That's the first thing. If you don't even realize that you're feeling lack, i.e. not having enough, restriction and tightness, then you're never going to be able to master it. And the way that you start to master lack is first, I'm feeling lack. Second, lack is a consciousness, i.e. an energy. This is a hard one, okay? But lack is only real if I choose to play in it. Now, you may be in a life right now where you're not making any money. Okay, and you are barely surviving and you're losing your savings, or you have 3 jobs, right? And so lack is very much our physical reality for you. Even from that state, is it possible for you to at least observe that you're experiencing lack, even if it's a physical reality for you? Even if it's physically showing itself. It's an absolute, it's a fact, it's a truth. Okay, great, but you're still experiencing this energy of lack. Is it possible? Is there any possible way, and I practice this all the time, it's not easy, to start to pull in an energy that's called abundance? Which means that I'm taken care of. I'm taken care of. I'm taken care of. I'm taken care of. I'm supposed to be taken care of. I'm supposed to be taken care of. I'm supposed to be taken care of, right? But I'm in lack. I'm fighting against. I'm having to survive. Nothing's easy for me. I don't have the money. Okay, great. Can I also start to hold an energy called abundance? Abundance. Okay, what is abundance? Abundance means that I'm taken care of. Abundance means that I have money. Abundance means that I'm not trying to survive. I don't know if you can or not. But is it possible for you to start to very slowly pull that frequency, that energy, that awareness in? In the deepest core of my being, I do not believe that we are, as humans, designed to be in lack. I don't. And I truly believe that one of the greatest gifts that we're all going to start to see as we start trusting this process of shifting into higher states of consciousness, which is what you're doing right now, is that you're going to start to receive abundance. But nobody can do that for you. And abundance is not like being a multimillionaire, having a freaking house everywhere. Abundance means that you're taken care of, that you have what you need to survive. And for each person, it can be very different. But the more that we allow lack to control us over abundance, the more we will be disempowered. And this is a very difficult, challenging part of the game. Very, very difficult part of the game is trying to remember how to step into abundance. Because if we remember that this is all an energetic game, doesn't make it easy, and you can fight for the limitations that you have in your life, and you can say, Lori, it's absolutely true. This is what I'm in. 100,000% that's what you're in. I agree. But there is also other opportunities to experience other things, but you have to shift your lens. It's like you're in quicksand, okay? And somebody's outside, somebody's on the ground saying, hey, you can get out of that quicksand. And you're like, go fuck yourself. I can't get out of this quicksand. I am in quicksand. Do you realize how heavy this is? Do you realize how hard it is for me to get out? And because they're on the ground, on a higher surface, because you're like in the quicksand, right? Because they're in the higher surface or a higher level, they can see that there's a little like outlet behind you or something, right? Not outlet, but an area where you can like grab and pull yourself, big tree or big limb or something. And you're just focused this way. You're like, I can't get out of this. Do you understand what quicksand is? You realize that I'm in quicksand. Like, have you lost your mind? This is a physical reality. Quicksand means that I am stuck in this. And this other person's like, nah, you're not actually. If you turn around, you're going to see that there's a big fat freaking limb that you can grab and you can start to pull yourself. And you're so set on the fact that like this is what is the reality that you won't even hear the message of, can you turn the freak around and look at the limb and pull yourself? Pull yourself out. We have to start to choose to look around. We have to start to choose to listen to the internal guidance. We have to start to choose that just because you are in a physical reality does not mean that is the only reality. Look around. Get out of the quicksand by choosing to start to listen to yourself more and more. Because I can promise you there is an aspect of you that is trying to get you out of the quicksand. I can promise you that you are not designed to be in the quicksand. That's not why you came onto the planet. That's definitely not why you came onto the planet at this time. You came here to evolve. You came here to shift consciousness. You came here to shift states of consciousness, states of being. You came here to step into a completely different way of being a human. But shit isn't easy. It's not easy. So if you find yourself in quicksand right now, there's anxiety, there's fear, there's lack, whatever that is, know that there is something behind you, around you, in front of you, to the side of you that's going to help you. Hey, Alec. I love you, my friend. There is something that's going to pull you. There's an escape route. There's always a way through. Always. It's what you are. It's the lens you're using to see your reality. And there is always something bigger than yourself, whether you want to call it God or your higher self, whatever it is, that is literally on the ground yelling at you saying, you've got this. Don't just believe what you're in. Don't just believe that you're in the quicksand. Stop believing that you're just in the quicksand. The freak are you doing? Get out. How do you do that? Change your lens, change your thoughts, choose. Choose. It's like we're in like a boxing ring. Here's another analogy. We're in a boxing ring. And there are no, what are those called? Rounds? The rounds don't stop. It's not like you get to round 13 and the fight's over. We're in the boxing ring for a very long time, going round after round after round. And it's exhausting, right? And you sit down on your little stool and you're bloody and you're like, I cannot go back out on that ring. And it's like, I'm sorry, you have no choice. And you're like looking up at your trainer, God, Jesus, higher self. And you're like, no, you don't understand. I can't keep going. You have no choice. You're going to get back up. You're going to go on in that, you're going to stand up and you're going to battle and you're going to win, right? And you're going to master this physical world. You're going to find freedom. You're going to find joy. You're going to find abundance. You're going to find all of that the more you commit to getting off that stool and getting in that ring over and over. And we're all in our own ring. And all of us are on the planet in our own ring, looking around like, how are you doing? Like, I don't know. I think my freaking arm was just broken. You know, how are you doing? I'm exhausted. I can't see. My eye is swollen, right? But we didn't come here to tap out. We didn't come here to give in. We didn't come here to say uncle, right? Uncle meaning I give up. Uncle, you know that game? You're somebody twists your arm, and you have to say uncle to let go. We didn't do that. You came here to shift. You came here to evolve. You came here to become. You came here to do this. That's why you're here. You're learning how to beat this physical world by remembering that it's all energetic. And it's exhausting. And it's incredible. Right? And you get to have all the human emotions around it. But you stop judging yourself. Judging ourselves, to me, is one of the most absurd things, because it's like you're in the boxing ring and you can't get out of the boxing ring. This is part of the human experience. You're in there. Good luck. And so you're in the boxing ring, and then you're yelling at yourself and beating yourself up for being in the boxing ring. It's like, why are you yelling and beating yourself up over being in the boxing ring when that's how you were designed to be? You're designed to be in the boxing ring, going through all of this. Why are you beating yourself up over it? Why are you getting upset because you're going through all these things? You're literally beating yourself up and judging yourself for a natural process of evolution. For learning how to come back home to yourself, remember who you are. You're beating yourself up over the natural steps and process of how you do it? The hell? What? Excuse me? Why? Stop. You want to start going through life with more ease and grace, regardless of anything else? Stop judging yourself. Just stop. There's nothing at all wrong with anything that you're experiencing. Nothing. Oh my God, my legs. I am an Aquarius. I'm an Aquarian. Self-love, if you can do that. meditate if you can do that. If not, just find a moment of quiet, you know? Look at my sweatshirt. Love yourself like crazy. Hardest thing we can do is love ourselves. Right? Yeah, put your roller coaster, put your seatbelt on. Oh, you guys are Aquarians? Aquarius. Hi, Charlie. I think that's it. I think that's all I have for you guys. Thanks for being here with me. I'm gonna go do some movement. Move my body. Move my body. Yeah, get in nature. Drink a lot of fluids. You guys got this. Hi from Iran. I will save this live. I always save my lives. I always put my lives on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube. You know? What are my thoughts on weed and meditation? I don't smoke marijuana, so I don't have an opinion on it. Hi from India. All right, you guys. Anything else before I go? Hi, Brendan. And Paula. I always save lives. Should I make the change or stay where I am? Stay where you are until you don't ask the question and you know exactly what to do. I have never heard of Linda Good McGill's. The crazy thing about trying to make a decision is usually, from my experience, going back and forth trying to make the decision stops us from making the decision. So what I typically do when I'm going back, because I do this a lot, I'm very indecisive. I'll go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I'll just stop. And what I typically do is, how do I describe this? I take the road of least resistance, and I let go of trying to figure out the right answer. So if you're in the middle of like, do I move or do I not move? I don't know where you're going, the person that asked this question, but if you're going back and forth, then don't make any decision. Because the going back and forth means that you haven't yet aligned with the resonance, the absoluteness of the direction. So you're learning how to discern. You're going back and forth, back and forth. Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Is it that? Which is great. It's beautiful. It's you learning how to find the resonance, the absoluteness, which is one of the hardest things that we do, is learn resonance, learn how to tap into our absolute knowingness, our absolute truth, the absolute yes, that, you know. And so the back and forth is just you unconsciously practicing how to find that aligned resonance. So typically I won't make a decision. I'll sit with it. Driving myself crazy, but I'll sit with it. And then I'll it's like this this feeling of diving deeper and deeper, like a diver, right? So you jump in the water and you're going back and forth trying to figure it out, and just like, no, just drop deeper in the water. Let go and just drop deeper in the water. Let go and just drop deeper into the water. And the deeper down you go, the more things settle, the quieter it gets, and the more you can feel. It's a feeling. It's really hard to describe. How do I go after something without chasing it? That's what I call active surrendering. You know, you have to hold an intention of what you want. Okay, so you're holding the intention of what you want. I want a new career, or I want whatever that is, the desire, the intention. It's an absolute knowingness that it's yours. But then you have to let go of trying to figure out how it's going to get how you're going to do it. So you have to move into a surrendered state, that there is something bigger than you that's going to guide you there. So that's where you start to really get clear on the ego or the higher self leading you. But you're open and receptive. So you're walking into it. Okay, so like you're looking online, or you're asking people, or you're talking. So there's an activeness to the new job. Okay, but it's not from a controlled state. I must get a job. I need to get a job. I have to get a job. If I don't get a job, I'm going to be miserable. That's a controlled state. Active surrendering is, my intention is I will have a new job. It's an absolute, it's a knowingness, it's a done deal. Now I need to energetically open myself up. I have to open myself up to something bigger than myself that's going to lead me there. It's so that you're trusting something larger than just the ego guiding you. All right, you guys, I love you so much. I'll see you next time. Be gentle with yourself. Mwah.